Yeah, man. Listen, I know I don't talk about this type of content much. You're gonna figure out what that is in a second. But I figured I had to. I figured, you know what I'm saying, like, a lot of shit going on. I don't cover a lot of wrestling shit, but I do cover certain adjacent shit a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and obviously, like, pro wrestling shit being a part of my gimmick. Like, it's been a part of what I do on here. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's rap music or just these videos, like, I always throw random ass fucking jokes and shit in the shit. It's like pro wrestling related. Like, I always did a lot of punchlines related to pro wrestling and shit. So, like, I talk about it every now and then when I feel like it's important and when I feel there's something bigger that I could give to that conversation, right? So lately, it appears that AEW is in a lot of trouble. Like I can't even say financially, bro, because I've said this before. I said Tony Khan has a cocaine problem. He just does not realize that it's a problem yet because it's still affordable. That's not my concern so much. Really, the only point where I got concerned is the way that he's doing hardcore spots. A, seems very on the fly. B, seems like they're either not doing rehearsal and they're doing it with people who's doesn't know how the weapons they trying to use is really going to impact the other person. And if you on TV, that's a huge issue. The thing with ECW that got the plug pulled. Now, granted, Tony Khan has a lot more money than Paul Heyman. But what got the plug pulled with that? Not even the plug pulled, but they like basically gave him a hard time about TV time because of it. It's like, oh, we don't want up close to the blood and shit, all that, whatever. I'm only bringing this up because I've seen someone who I respect do a video talking about Tony Khan and how his wrestlers don't respect him and shit. And at the same time, like, yo, the way he's talking about hardcore wrestling, like not talking about it, the way he's doing it, like the way his promotion. If you had somebody who had never seen hardcore wrestling before, and you showed them all the spots that people get mad at AEW about, okay, that goes, and listen, it's spots that are either dangerous, that the workers in them are unskilled with doing. Like, when you're using weapons, it's a lot of knowing how to hit just enough and knowing how to take that hit. Like with light tubes, it's a big illusion because if it gets smashed on you and you're wearing a shirt, or if it gets smashed on your leg, you just really just sell that, bro. But at the same time, like, you could show people CZW matches and they're gonna have a better reaction to what they're seeing than what is going on. If you were to take the worst hardcore bumps of AEW, the ones that all the Bischoffs and Cornettes and all the other Maven YouTube sensations and Stevie Richards been talking about on here, and you show them that first, they're not gonna want to see the CZW shit. Because they're going to say, this shit looks so unprofessional and it looks so bad. Like, don't look right. Like, they look crazy, bro. Like, that syringe shit, that shit was crazy. That shit looked crazy. That shit made your whole organization look crazy, Tony Khan. You talk all you want about, oh, we're not going to take this shit when you on cocaine, talking about, I've got a lot more money than Jim Crockett Promotions did. It don't matter. You could get blackballed too. Suge Knight got a lot of money. Look at him. He as blackballed as possible. Over what, bro? Over what, really? Let's just be honest. He really is blind. I just have to say that. I'm obligated contractually to say that Suge Knight is blind every time I mention him, that he's really blind. We don't need to let him out of jail. I only care about this Tony Khan shit. The only reason I care is because how this channel really took off, bro. That shit I would do with the light tubes and shit. Like, a lot of people talk shit about hardcore wrestling. We got enough people that talk shit about it, refer to it as garbage wrestling. Constantly. It's like you're the front runner of this shit now, Tony Khan. I don't know what's going on with Billy Corgan. It's the same thing as it is with you, really, but it's just a little different. I don't know, man. Billy Corgan, bro, that's a whole other video. But it's a lot of shit going on at once with Tony Khan that's like messing him up. You got that, that's the part I care about. But then you could even say deeper shit than that. You could be like, well, the shit with Jericho. Like the shit with Jericho. Regardless how I feel about Jericho and my personal experience dealing with Chris Jericho, where he was way more humble than I ever expected someone like that to be. But nah, Tony Khan got a lot of shit on his plate right now. It's like the hardcore shit, that just matters to me because I'm now hearing people talk crazy about it where like, I heard some weirdo comparing it to like porn and I'm like, it's like, you know how you got like watch more and more extreme ass porn? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Porn analogy just made it weird. I'm like, bro, it's not. So I realized like, see, like that's a very dangerous language I don't like. I'm gonna tell you why. You compare it to porn at the time when like, okay, this is how I feel like they're gonna go about banning cigarettes and shit, right? It's a whole side mission, but it's necessary. They're gonna get enough people to quit, okay, or switch on to something else to where, okay, nobody wants cigarettes no more. Okay. The people who do are dead. I think the same mentality is being took with pornography and shit like that. Like, you had that whole shit they say Trump released, and I say it like that for a reason. You know, the media lie, bro. The whole reason I do this shit. Basically, like, in that shit, they talking about banning porn. And at that point, it's like, I don't care for that matter. It's like the same reason I do naked bitches, bro. It's like, I don't care about the sexual aspect of that. I care about the free speech aspect of that. That's why when I was allowed to push that on here as far as I did. Because it was like, the free speech aspect for me, it's what consolidates being a fucking American. What it really come down to. A lot of these people try to do shit under the guise of protection, right? So, and we're almost done with this side mission now. Basically, I worry about someone being like, you know, like for example, how TikTok said the light tube shit was dangerous trends. Like, this is Tide Pods now? I don't think so. One of the dudes from the Power Rangers. I worry that they gonna come in and say, oh, all that hardcore wrestling and shit, where it's like they keep trying to go further and further. That shit like a snuff film. If they really got the power to try to ban it, that's how they would do it. They'd be like, well, listen, what's the difference between if it's a snuff film and this, bro? Like, this is shit that goes on in the Manhunt video games. Like, literally, you see someone drill through someone's cheek, bro. Like, what? That's, yeah, like, that's not wrestling no more. That's Manhunt. Now, listen, if you do that spot in the right way, that's his problem. He does all these crazy hardcore spots, and they're not done in the right way. They're done either rushed, maybe on the fly. Like, it might be some shit they just in the ring, they're like, yeah, we gonna do this now. Make the shit look right. Like, and that's something WWE very good at, right? I think that's why they don't like the shooting star press, because it's very easy to fuck up. Like, that's one of the most easiest botches you see happen repeatedly. Like, the most common thing to fuck up badly when people like are doing high risk shit, and like it's anything where your legs are involved at all, whether that's flipping or kicking or whatever, is your legs are gonna risk hitting that person closer than you thought. Like, that's how Rey Mysterio essentially killed somebody down in Mexico. Yeah, he fucking did the 619. He was doing it to two people draped over the rope, and one of the dudes was like further in and closer to his knee. Like, most bad shit that happens from high flying shit is a knee to the face on accident. Like, you're not trying to hit him with the knee. So your knee hits, like, or with a shooting star press, you overshoot. So like you wind up landing, like I've seen one where Billy Kidman was notorious for botching the shooting star press. Like, his didn't even look that nice a lot of the time. Brock Lesnar surprisingly had an amazing shooting star press. Like, for someone that big to be able to do that shouldn't be allowed. It just shouldn't be allowed. If I can't even do a gainer with my lanky ass that's like the same height as you, Brock, you being a fucking refrigerator plus that should not be able to do no shooting star press. That just shouldn't be allowed. I call bullshit. But he never fucked it up and fucking... Yo, shout out Ike Turner, man. Shout out Ike Turner. They don't never want to tell you. Ike Turner invented rock and roll. No, they don't want y'all to know that. They just want y'all to know that he beat up Tina. Tina ain't invent no shit. I stand with Joe Brown. Tina ain't invent no shit. Tina was a gorilla pimp. Like, I respect that, but at the same time, she was like kidnapping bitches and shit. Like, wild shit. You're supposed to be in Hollywood. You can't be doing that no more. It's a bad way to be in, bro, because, like, you got these issues. Yeah, like I was saying, let me finish the Jeff Hardy, Darby Allin thing. So, like, Jeff Hardy, when they do the fucking, what he did, the Swanton, I forget who did it to who, but I think it was Darby doing it to Jeff. Like, Jeff gets up and puts himself on the chairs. How does that make sense psychologically? Or he'll have, like, out of random, that syringe spot, bro, was random as fuck. And I don't know if it was done in any way that would have impacted heat in a storyline. I don't know who it was done to, but I know that, like, unless you're doing it to someone who has, like, he's a drug addict storyline, or, like, he was using drugs storyline, you have a beef with another wrestler where, like, this storyline between the two of them is basically them saying, yeah, like, one of them's like I think CM Punk did this shit a bunch of times, like, before WWE, where we were getting beefs with other wrestlers because they was on drugs, allegedly, and him being straight edge. Like, so if it's something like that, right, like, that makes sense if it's, like, a culmination match. Like, even CZW understood shit like this. Like, you didn't see the Weed Whacker just come out of nowhere, bro. Like, you literally, like, they built up to that. You would always see the Weed Whacker come out and never get used. And then, like, they built up to that in the biggest match Nick Mondo and Wife Beater had. Nick Mondo understood the psychology that, like, he does not get enough credit for how much psychology that he understood. Eddie Guerrero understood the psychology of it crazy. His brother, Chavo, he even said he felt Chavo understood the psychology of shit, like, better than he did. It's just like there's a bunch of spots where, like, it either makes no sense, it looks bad and makes no sense, or it's like it's gonna look bad to anyone who's never seen hardcore wrestling before, and the first thing they see is someone showing them the syringe spot with AEW. Without no context, no storyline, nothing. Like, they just see that. That's the first thing. Then you show them the shit with Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin. That's the problem with Tony Khan. I heard Swerve Strickland being like, he let me do whatever I want. Like, it seemed like there's a lot of that going on. There was another shit with Pentagon Jr. and shit. The shit looked bad. The shit looked, like, really bad. Like, it looked like, A, that they didn't rehearse it, and they put it off really bad, and someone broke their foot, if I remember right. Like, it was one of them, like, TLC type spots where, like, you remember how, like, when TLC first started happening, they do, like, crazy spots combining the chairs and ladders and tables. Like, they put the tables on the ladders and shit like that. It was some shit like that through Mo tables and shit. Like, you have to really look at how everyone, like, everyone since ECW has done it. You have heat building. If that heat continues to build, you do more with the matches, right? Like with Sabu and Terry Funk, prime example. They didn't start out just doing the barbed wire fucking match. They had heat build over 2 different continents in 2 different countries at least to get there. They had a whole bunch of matches involving Sabu, him, other people. That Sammy and Raven beef, you can learn psychology from that. It's just a lot of shit, bro. Like, people are mad about the Jericho shit. I'm not really mad about the Jericho shit. Like, it's not some shit I do, but it's some shit I've definitely seen other dudes do. They tell motherfuckers they with other people when they not, because they trying to get with their bitch. But it's just like, so it's not like the craziest shit. Like, he's like, no, man, no. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've never done that. Like, the people I know that would do that are people like I don't associate with no more. I get it. I get why Tony Khan is like trying to protect Y2J and shit. I get that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta also look at what the competition doing. The moment Brock Lesnar name comes up in the most obscure reference, Like, to where, like, it's not even verified this man did anything. So it's like, he's not wrapped up in this Vince shit. And even fucking TKO is telling WWE, you can't bring Brock back. Can't bring Brock back. His name too hot. It's too hot in the streets, you know what I'm saying? We gotta shut the trap down. It's too hot. And that's over like some shit that really don't even involve him. Like, the only way he's brought up is like, Vince said your name. Vince said your name to my knowledge. You're not named as a defendant in this or none of that. I could be wrong about how much Brock Lesnar's involved in that lawsuit, but that's my knowledge, my understanding of it, right? It's just wild to me, bro. I don't, like, they said, Tony Khan, like, they said, someone was saying that he was a beta and shit. Like, motherfucker do whatever he want, right? I definitely see that. But what I also see even more so is, like, it's bad for the sport, bro. It's like, imagine if you gotta understand, with WWE being the only game in town, y'all gotta have a longevity to this. Like, if NWA, with that cocaine spot, bro, and y'all are trying to get television, trying to get television. They got you on some streaming app right now, bro. How's that working? You trying to get television and you do this shit, bro. That's why I said I should do a whole video on Billy Corgan ass too, because he don't know no better. Him and Tony Khan's the same shit, where like they both marks, bro. They both are fucking marks. That's like my word I be using on here. They're both fucking marks. And like, I mean that in the pro wrestling sense too, and the literal sense that I be using it in. They're both marks, both Billy Corgan. I hate to say this about Billy Corgan, because as a musician, I really respect him. But Tony Khan and Billy Corgan are marks. Tony Khan's just a really, really rich mark. Probably has like converted oil money or some shit. He probably linked with the Saudis. I get tired talking about this shit. You could tell I get tired talking about this shit. Because it's like, I worry about, my only concern is like, you're not going to be coming out here saying anything with light tubes and this and that. Like, YouTube already touchy as hell about anything remotely violent. Like, to points like, how you even run a wrestling company on that? Like, unless it can definitely tell. Because I know with some of my shit, it seems like it could tell. And that didn't even involve the ring. Like, whatever you're doing, you're the only thing against Vince. We gotta make sure that motherfucker get on TV and stay there. You understand that syringe spot? You show that to the right neckwear executive, especially if they got some like morals and shit. They're gonna pull the plug. They're gonna pull the plug, just like they try to do with ECW. Said, well, wait, could you edit that? Could you change up how you do things a little just to make it so like it's not, and we gotta put you out 11 p.m. You only get an hour. I don't think Tony Khan realized how dangerous like this is financially. Like, it don't matter if you rich mark as hell, bro. You're still a mark. You still get marked out, and you still like can wind up broke. What's the most dangerous thing about having $1 billion? Having to keep it. I'm out there, bitch.